It was good. Her senior year, she tried to do the, kind of the lower level composition, to make it seem like the next one.
Oh, dear.
And she didn't do that
Yeah,
well.
let's get it.
Like, and she could do all the time, but we just never performed that well. And thank God,
No.
because like, then it was good, because then she's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do a gap year and do this.
Yeah.
She decided at that point, she had been thinking about doing a gap year. But, you know, I just hear about these.
Thank you for saying that. That's always well, that's inspiring.
So she still loves.
And you have family there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought, okay.
So
I also brought us a friend today.
Cousins or something.
No,
I was talking to a friend today about
her grandma, and then my dad.
Star Wars and Star
Oh,
Trek.
okay.
And then I grew up.
They never worry about oxygen or gravity.
What's that?
I think I don't know.
Yeah, interesting, yeah.
It's always good to have someone like that, yeah, it's cool.
I went to travel from the last year.
And then it's good reason for me to try.
Yeah, exactly.
And then my younger one's a senior, she said.
Anybody else have a person?
She hates me.
No.
Chris, I probably
Do
should.
you have any more?
So.
All right, I want to double check. Just thought it was a nice suggestion for Mary.
I appreciate it.
Saves a lot of money, meanwhile.
We should do like a
Some.
seltzer pop-up
Well,
rotation.
He stopped competing. Well, he competed once last year at Palomar.
John, it's 3:01.
I'm sorry.
For every building.
In the post
We
office.
post seconds.
I don't know if Ann has had the seltzer.
Okay.
You know.
We got
For the
at
rest.
least one of
I
them.
wanted it at ours.
We're ready to breathe.
Okay, well, I am gavel free, but let's go ahead and start our August 26th, 2026 Alta Planning Commission meeting. And it's been a while. Who do we have online real quick here?
Paul.
We have Paul. Hello, Paul. We have John G. And Gabby, welcome. And Dan, is it Daniel or Dan?
Daniel, he's a part of the Sunrise team.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. It's been a while.
Dave is gonna join Roland.
And Dave, and we'll have one more planning commissioner join here in a bit. Dave's gonna dial in. And yeah, it's been a while since we've been together, but hopefully everybody's had a nice summer, some travels, anything exciting. I can show my World Cup photos sometime, but went to a couple in Kansas City and where I'm from, and it was fun and very tall. Dutch people really are tall. They are tall. Dutch. Yeah, Dutch people are very tall. Yeah, they're tall and they do like to drink their beer.
Is that the stereotype?
Yes,
People are tall.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, so anyway, but hopefully other people had some good adventures as well, but well, let's get right at it. Do we have a quorum? Oh, there's three of us.
That's four.
Yeah.
Yep, okay, we're good. We do have a busy agenda, a long agenda. I'm not sure how some of these things, we'll see how they pan out. So let's go to agenda item 2. We're gonna have a public hearing and possible action on our code update. We had talked, there's Dave. Hi, Dave. We're just getting started. And just getting, we're at agenda item 2, Dave. And our wildland urban interface code, which we discussed at a couple of meetings in the past. And let's start with public hearing on that. There's probably no one here, so I think we're good on the public hearing. Do we have to formally open that and then close it? Even though no one's here?
No, for just public comment.
Your public hearing on the
Oh, I see, you're holding the pub, yeah, you can just.
no one's here, so it's okay,
It's okay.
okay, all right.
Close it.
Going
Okay.
online.
No one on.
No one online either, so, okay. Chris?
Yeah, so just a quick note, you know, typically our agendas are stacked, public hearings. In like upfront. And at times we've even held the meeting open for 5 minutes during the public hearing, so it would take 15 minutes to do these 3 public hearings. So we moved on from that, and this month we're trying it a different way. So yeah, we'll be, voting on these proposed ordinance amendments at the conclusion of each of these quote unquote public hearings. This wild and urban interface code adoption is I mean, everything the state legislature and state of Utah have done with respect to wildfire the last couple of years is confusing to a lot of people. All this is doing is updating the version of the wild and urban interface code that we must apply. We were required to adopt the WUI code, the 2006 WUI code, as a wild and urban interface community 2 years ago now, or perhaps it was just in 2025, and we're just now getting around to this 2024 code. So I think there was maybe a little. Do you want to speak to the appendices at all?
Yeah, well, so I can speak to two things. One is that the state makes it effective as of January 1, 2027.
Yeah,
So
okay.
we'll make that the effective date of the ordinance, but we're just being proactive. So that we're not scrambling in December on this. And then the appendices has been a little bit of a struggle. In the past, the town of Alta adopted appendices A and B. I've been in contact with a guy from the state forestry who I had dealt with, who's in charge of WUI stuff, named Strickland.
That sounds right.
But I'm just trying to find the email, I got so many emails today, but he's actually leaving, going back to Colorado. And then I also got in touch with Dave,
Bradley.
who is it?
Dave Bradley.
Dave Bradley, who is the fire marshal, who is also involved with WUI. And I asked both of them and they said, yes, you should. They had differing opinions on what appendices to adopt. So, the state code only requires us to adopt the 2024. And I think at this point, maybe the easiest would be to, if you agree to forward a positive recommendation, and then we can always bring the appendices back to you so that we at least have this teed up for the council. Because it's complicated, like all the different appendices and figuring out how they interact. I just would love to have someone from
The fire.
fire department speak to that. That's out of my wheelhouse a little bit.
Okay, so it's gonna ultimately be council
Adoption.
Right,
So either we could, if it looks like it's straightforward, maybe the council could just adopt the appendices, or if we think that it needs planning commission input, we can always send it back to you just to adopt.
okay, but I do recall there is a deadline, there is a sunset as far as getting this on the books,
Yeah,
and that's the end of the year.
Right.
I know we had talked about trying to get this done by September.
yeah, we just wanted to get it done.
Okay, yeah,
Right, so that we're not, and the two names there was David Bradley is the area fire marshal, and Michael Swinsick was is the WUI specialist for the Wasatch Front area with the state.
okay.
And one of them could come talk to the council at that time. Okay.
Yeah, and we tried to reach out with UFA, but the contact I had was Jay Jorgensen. I think he's just really busy.
Well, I think it's just.
He's like been
he's-
promoted.
I mean, he's not a fire code specialist, and it was 24 hours ago, and so I mean, I don't think I think we could have given Jay. I could have given Jay a better heads up that we were going to do this at the planning commission. We did kind of like figure out that we should just go ahead and get this done.
Yeah.
So last
Okay.
minute. So he always comes to our council meetings, and we will prepare him to opine on the appendices and whether they apply to
Okay.
Alta.
As far as our action today, our action today is in the packet, unless I'm mistaken, it's page 22 of 34, the draft ordinance. So today our action, should we decide to act on it, is to recommend this draft ordinance goes to council.
Town council.
Town council. Oops.
And are there No appendices in that draft, or there are?
No, there are not.
There's not.
Okay. So open up for discussion from the planning commission. If not, I will entertain a motion to forward this to town council.
So moved.
So moved. Is there a second out there?
Seconded.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, we have a motion on the table to forward, this doesn't have a number to it yet, but the ordinance for the wildland urban interface code. To town council for their consideration pending appendices. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, very good. Agenda item 3, please. Chris. Why don't we turn it over to you and give us a little update on this, please?
You want me to
Oh,
do this
never mind.
one
That's the
or?
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge we still have no members of the public here.
Oh, yes, that's true. I'm sorry.
You're right.
Let's open this up for, public hearing, no members of the public, either online or in person. So we will move on from there to 3D discussion of possible action. Thank you. Bringing me that.
Okay, so on the land use appeal authority. It has been. Who can serve as the appeal authority for land use decisions in a city, town, or county, a municipality. Has been changing over the years. Those changes up until this last legislative session, I don't believe have been directed by the state legislature, but has been sort of increasingly becoming best practice. And very common practice for cities, towns, and counties to appoint a non-legislative appeal authority to hear these land use appeals. And the reason is that the appeals of a legislative decision are quasi judicial. Town council members are legislative. The primary role is to make the laws, not to apply them or interpret them. So, just like the tricameral federal government, that division of labor is really important, and the case law supports that. I think Polly would agree, or at least, experience that municipalities have bringing, land use appeal decisions made by legislative bodies forward supports making this change. So in the last legislative session, the legislature passed a bill to prohibit the legislative body in really cities, essentially municipalities with more than 5,000 residents, right? Which is all cities.
Well, no, it's not all cities, but it's all cities larger than 5,000. The city is at 1,000.
Oh, at 1,000. Okay. Well, and so I think, not to out.
So all towns,
Right, and very small, cities in 5th class or something,
Yeah.
yeah. So, not to out Polly, but I don't think either of us were aware that, there's been a headline in the, impacts on land use regulations from the last legislative session that, okay, the legislature finally prohibited legislative bodies from serving as the appeal authority. So we thought, okay, we'll go ahead and do this. We happen to be finally hiring an administrative law judge to hear all civil appeals at the town anyways, which is, a long time coming. So we're in a good position to make this change. As we develop this agenda item, we didn't really have that 5,000 residents threshold in mind, like we weren't aware that existed. So technically, we are not required, but we strongly recommend that this is.
We're already doing.
Well, no, because right now, the town council.
I thought you said we're hiring them.
Well, we're hiring an ALJ, but the land use Title 10 designates the town council as the appeal authority.
Okay.
Presently. So we don't hear land use, certainly haven't heard of land use appeals since I've been around.
So in the future, it's gonna be kind of what Park Cities went through on the appeals for the chairlift replacement.
right,
Where they have
we
administrative-
set up a
Right,
board
yeah.
which is a little bit more cumbersome. I mean, there are other alternatives, I would say, and we did talk about doing this a couple of years ago, and then when it got to council, the council didn't wanna do it. I think there's a sense of wanting to have control over, not wanting to have someone who wasn't a citizen here. The flip side is that inherently city councils are legislative bodies that accept public comment, which is why, as you said, state legislature is different from your governor, right?
Right.
Like, or it's different from a judge, right? Or the
Right.
governor is the same, like, it's a different. You want someone to just be looking at the law, so it has always been a recommendation, and that is why also. What I hear every year when I go to my, Utah Municipal Attorneys Association. Meetings, they're always saying, oh yeah, you don't wanna have a legislative body be your appeal authority, they recommend against it. But obviously, we are entitled to do it, and it is local preference, it's just that. If it is the legislative body, then we need to be extremely careful that people are making the decision based on the law and not because. Every member of the community called them and said, there's no way you can let this happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way the Utah land use ground rules, which everyone has a copy of it, the term used in that is public clamor. Elected officials are supposed to consider public clamor in making legislative decisions, but you may not use public clamor to make administrative decisions.
Right.
And so when legislators make administrative decisions, it gets really hard to
Okay.
draw them.
This makes sense.
Anyway,
And actually, it's quasi judicial, so it's even.
Yeah, that's true.
can I ask you a question?
Sure.
When we amend this, yeah, sorry to put you on the spot. Do we need to separately, like, will the council still remain as the variance authority?
No,
Do you remember?
I know, I do know,
Okay.
they're not, this changes it also for variance.
Okay.
For the same reason,
Yes.
and the state code also does not allow the legislative body to be the variance.
Okay,
Arbitrary.
right, I think we understand. Let me turn it over to the planning commissioners to opine on this, please, your thoughts. I know it's a little bit arcane, but at the same time, it would be, Chris, repeat it again, you were in the process of establishing a pool of attorneys? or-
No, we solicited proposals and received 3 proposals to serve as the town's, I guess I forget what the title in our civil
It's the
code.
same as a ALJ.
It's just an ALJ.
So you're,
It's a civil hearing officer.
so you have, there'll be up to 3 or individual. In the
No, we'll have one.
wings,
We'll have one.
you'll have one.
Yeah.
In the wings, so to speak, on an as needed basis.
We'll probably have a standing monthly
Right.
hearing date, may or may not have a hearing.
Okay, if there's no hearing.
Who-
Who pays this person?
The town,
Town.
the general fund.
And it also gets paid in part by the fees that's charged by
Right.
appeal. So
Right.
it's very typical for an appeal to the ALJ to cost $500. I don't know what it is in our fee schedule, but I know in other places it's 500 or 1,000, and in part that's so that the town isn't
Yeah.
taking the brunt of the cost.
Right, that makes
Legal
sense.
fees.
Good question, Paul. Other thoughts from planning commissioners in terms of good idea? What do we want to forward this to the town council?
I had a question,
Sure.
John and Planning Commission. Maybe I can, sorry, Polly, your wealth of knowledge in Park City. You mentioned it's a board. I guess I'm trying to imagine other scenarios. Alta is somewhat unique, and there may be pressure on development or questions about variances that may be somewhat controversial or create a lot of public clamor, let's say. What are the other alternatives besides a lone ALJ or a board? What other thoughts do you have there? Is that the only two pathways?
Yeah, I mean, cause you wouldn't want it to be your planning commission, because your planning commission is making your land use, is likely to be making your land use decisions, so you can't sit on an appeal of your own. So, you know, and I didn't think to do this, but it is a good point. The only place I've heard of that does a board these days is Park City, that I've heard of. That doesn't mean that there aren't any, but, and that would be easy to look up. There used to be boards of adjustment all the time, and they got rid of those as well. So, and maybe,
Well, I think on that appeal though, for the chairlift at Park City, it was one
did
individual.
they switch it to one?
It was one.
So I think originally, the first round, they had a
Yeah, I
board,
think that's right.
and it was 3 people, and I think it was kind of a mess, and it's very hard to get everyone
Right,
together.
right.
And now they just have one person,
have one
that's
person.
great, they
One
do,
person.
because yes.
What's the
you are-
criteria for appointing such an administrative law judge? I mean, what are you looking for? What skills do they have to have, et cetera?
What was your RFP?
And why is that better than the council?
Primarily because the administrative, we were looking for a lawyer or someone with a bar license and possibly experience as a judge. Because it's quasi judicial in nature, the role is to interpret the law and then consider the facts of the case and apply the law to the case. But the reason the state law changed is that council members make the laws by considering public clamor, and they may not consider public clamor in interpreting whether a law was applied correctly. And if they do, it's easy to overturn their decisions.
I
That
would
makes
say the
sense.
other thing too, I'd say the criteria is someone has familiarity with land use law. And the other part of it is that, in order to appeal something to the district court, you have to go through the administrative process of the town. So if, let's say the planning commission makes a decision on a conditional use permit, and then someone appeals that, we wanna give them the ability to appeal that within the town. And then from there, they can appeal it to the district court. And if the appeal is done incorrectly, or doesn't follow the law exactly, then there's a greater chance that we will be overturned at the district court level.
So this could reduce a step or two in theory on a highly controversial, and it goes sideways. This would be, no, you got your third party. And did all we could to make this clean and separate from legislative as possible. Actually, Paul, to your point, Paul, I actually Googled the attorney they used in Park City for the chairlift appeal. And found, you can go LinkedIn or whatever, and found out the background, because I was curious, just like you, what the criteria was that the Park City used for this person. And yeah, it was just like I said, it was land use expert, familiar with the context of Park City and things like that. So I trusted it as a cider.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
Just so I understand this, let's say, for example, we decided not to forward the
Shallow shaft?
the shallow shaft project to the council, and we said no, would that mean in that instance they could appeal it to an administrative law judge?
No, so in that case, that application is for a legislative change. So, right, they wanna change the zoning and the code, they wanna change the language of the zone. And so that already, all you're doing at this point is forwarding, as a legislative decision, you're giving your input to the council is going to decide. If they disagree with that, then they can appeal directly to the district court. But the grounds for appeal of a legislative decision are minimal. It's, you know. You can all, it's really only if. They would only win if the action the council took had no rational reason or was discriminatory or something like that.
Thank you.
Or illegal as a matter of law.
Yeah, yeah, this makes sense.
So that's not, but I'm trying to think, administrative decisions that you make are conditional use permits, are,
For instance, we have a boundary adjustment on the agenda today, and just as I've told the chair and a couple others, we're not gonna hear that today, we just didn't wind up with a complete application in time. But if the planning commission denied that, that could be appealed. That's a
Correct.
decision, that's an application by the planning commission
Yeah.
of existing regulations.
Yeah, within the existing code.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mayor? Tell me,
I think this makes sense to me.
yeah, yeah.
I
What
guess
is
my
the
question,
term for the position?
LJ,
Administrative law judge?
Yes, what is the
No,
term,
like,
the length of time that they are doing this role?
I
Indefinite?
put it in for 5 years. It's appointed by the mayor with consent of the council, of the town council. And it can be renewed at their, but I just not arbitrarily, but that seemed like a good amount of time that someone would work, but that after 5 years if someone, you could change it up or not.
Yep,
So
I
every
think
5
that sounds good, Polly, because it probably does take them some time to catch up on Alta if they aren't familiar with Alta. And then we don't want to be kind of indoctrinating new people all the time. So makes sense.
So it's really on an as needed basis, right? In terms
It's
of
just as needed.
yeah, so it's not like they're gonna be charging every council, going to town council meeting.
It may not
No.
happen very often at all,
They
hopefully.
never happen, they never happen.
it depends on the contract. I mean, we don't know what their fee proposals
Yeah.
are, but they may.
But usually it's as needed, like, I can just give the example of, I act as an ALJ for a county. And I've done it now for 4 years and I think I've had 2 or 3,
Okay,
and that's a count for a county.
okay,
So, it doesn't happen that often, and I'd say that the typical is you only. And then I've also been in front of ALJs, and my understanding is we only pay when they're being used.
okay, all right, so we have somebody on, on the bench, so to speak, and we've got the language, sorry. Paul or Dave, anything else?
No.
Okay,
my question is, why would we not do this? In that case, let's do it.
that's called the no does support, yeah. Technical term, so. We're entertain a motion to forward the administrative law judge. Amendment to town council. Looking for a motion to forward this as language, and by the way. Those keeping score at home, it's page 26 of 34 in the packet.
So moved.
So moved, motion, is there a second? No? Can I make the second?
Seconded.
Oh, there's a second, thank you, all seconds. All those in favor of forwarding this, aye, or any thumbs up, aye,
Aye.
all right, carries 4 zip, thank you, everybody. Agenda item 4. Setback requirements from the forestry and rep zone.
Want to open the public hearing?
Yes, it's open to public here, it is, thank you, and that's gonna be quick. Because we don't have anybody again, either online, still no one new online, very good, no one showed up here. So we'll close the public hearing, well, does not even have it. Let's have a discussion, and again, that is on page 28. And entertain staff or council to invite us, please.
So I was speaking on the phone to somebody who was interested in submitting a building permit application, and we were for a project that's in one of our single family zones, that would be if it were to come to fruition. And I was looking at the code and I was telling him that setbacks are individually determined by the planning commission because they are in our other zones. And then I finally found the code section and realized that in the single family zone, you have to get a recommendation from the planning commission, and then the town council determines your setbacks. So what that means in practicality is that to build a new house, you have to go to the planning commission and the town council to make an addition of additional footprint to your house for living space. You'd have to go to both bodies. Really, to add a deck, we'd make you get setback approvals from both bodies. So anyways, I thought the least we could do is remove that town council requirement from the ordinance. It kind of along the same lines as the reason why legislative bodies are prohibited from hearing appeals. This is an administrative decision to determine a setback in the context of an application, and so it doesn't make sense for the council to sit with council. So
Okay, yeah,
it's a cleanup.
yeah, it's a cleanup and slightly is less onerous on potential action. Yes. Open for discussion from planning commissioners.
Makes sense to me.
Makes sense. Anyone? Paul or Dave, any thoughts on this? You see, again, it's as a reminder, it's on page 28 of the packet.
Yep. I think this, Chris, when I saw this yesterday, I was like questioning whether it was accurate because I looked at all the other zones and I think it just aligns it basically. So sounds good to me.
Okay, Paul, any thoughts?
No comments.
Okay, very good. So I think we're looking for a motion on this one, to advance the ordinance, amending section 10-6A-5 to the town council for possible action. I'll look for a motion on that.
So moved.
So, Paul, motion by Paul, is there a second?
I'll second.
Marion seconds, thank you. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Hands, thank you, everybody. All right. So we went through our amendments and our action items and with hearings. I kind of like the structure, so thank you. So let's getting this going. Now we're going on to agenda item 5. General public comment. Seeing none. I thought I heard steps, but no. So we'll move on from that. There's no general public here, nor online. Let's move on to 6, Sunrise Engineering Planning Team. Some quick introductions,
Yeah,
a little bit of
sure, yeah.
background.
Yeah, I mean, yes, we've got a couple folks from Sunrise Engineering here. We've got Gabby Blackburn and we've got Daniel Jensen. The town issued an RFQ, a solicitation back in, I don't know, sometime in the second quarter of 2026, and we got a bunch of great proposals. We had a lot of good options to choose from, and Sunrise won the bid. It so happens we're also contracting with Sunrise to provide services of a building official, so building permit review, inspections, things like that. And we're also newly contracting with Sunrise to serve as the town engineer. And all of these things are really a huge upgrade for the town. And we've really enjoyed working with all 3 of these teams separately and in conjunction. The scope of work from the solicitation and the contract is included in the packet. Really, it's just general support on anything related to plan use. So we'll be bringing these guys. What we're working on primarily for starters is they're doing like a code audit, and we're creating some land use application forms so that we can present a consistent process to landowners or other applicants who want to need a town of Alta land use application to do something. And there's a lot more that we need to do to kind of have a modern land use program at the town. We do, of course, still have John. John is we've sort of kept the hook in John. John is continuing to help us on, I mean, every day something comes up that is difficult to interpret and that is connected to something that happened when John was in the office. And so we don't always call John about every one of them, but we've usually got a couple irons in the fire with John about looking for some records or and you know, there's just some sort of long-standing projects in Alta that are still underway that John has a unique perspective on. So so we've got a lot of support in the land use arena these days, and I think John, the chair, just thought it would be nice to have Gabby and Daniel join us and just say hello.
In fact, can I turn and thanks, Chris, and we're all excited. I was part of the process, and so I to echo Chris, we did have a lot of good responses, a lot of qualifications out there. We're all, at least those of us who have got to know you a little bit, we're excited to have you on board. Looking forward to your support in all different aspects, and that's going to be the classic peeling the onion. I think there's going to be things that we don't know about today that we're going to call upon you tomorrow. Who knows? And then so maybe Gavin, just maybe a couple of seconds or minutes on quick background and just so we get to know you a little bit better, the rest of the commission.
Sure, I can go first. I'm Gabby Blackburn. I got my undergrad in landscape architecture and environmental planning, and then I went on to a master's in public project management. Daniel and I have both been planners in Utah for a long time. We actually both used to work for municipalities on the other side of the counter. And so this is like a dream getting to help Alta, because it's such a cool town. And we're happy to help fill in the gaps, I guess, for staff so that everything can be really cohesive and smooth.
Very good, thank you. Now, you're not going to be in person very often, if I recall, and that's okay, but where are you located, if you don't mind?
I'm in Vernal,
Okay, that's right.
kind of a
very good.
geographical oddity, middle of nowhere, but Daniel's closer.
Okay, all right, yeah, Daniel, please.
Yeah, so I'm Daniel and I'm down in Provo, so I'm not too far. I went to BYU Law and from there I went into public sector planning. I worked for Provo and then Payson and Utah County. And after all of that, I came over to Sunrise. I've been here for almost 5 years and it's been great.
All right, well, thank you both. I know you have a bench behind you as well, as far as other resources on an as-needed basis, and we have other contracts with other parts of Sunrise as well, so we think there's some economies of scale as well with this approach. And so yeah, we're excited and thanks for dialing in today, and looking forward to ongoing support as we dive into some juicier things later early next year.
And I'll just add that, you know, once we get a little bit more underway with some of this like immediate housekeeping kind of stuff, or perhaps even before we're really fully underway with that, I think there is a chance, there's a likelihood that we'll be passing applications off to these guys to process on our behalf, you know, apply regulations that we all create locally. And then, you know, staff still makes decisions where those are part of the process. But these guys really do the legwork to review submittals, request more information. And in so doing, they'll most likely come to planning commission meetings from time to time. Sure. Maybe in September, which we should talk about, just based on what's on the horizon. So I thought it was good to get a basic introduction.
Yeah, so thanks again for dialing in. I think this is good. And John, glad to see you still there, and Mr. Altapedia, whatever. So
And I'm happy to be here, and thank you for allowing me to hang on for a little while longer. And Daniel and Gabby, welcome. It's an interesting place. It's not quite as it would seem due to the size, but we had a lawyer, actually a team of lawyers once say that, yeah, you know, you don't need to worry about your process or your zoning ordinance. You don't even need a zoning ordinance. I thought, well, what do you mean? They go, well, you don't need a zoning ordinance because everything is determined by the courts. So welcome and hang on. The law degree will come in handy.
We're here.
We're gonna nip those.
It's been a nice quiet 12 years. It
Yeah,
seems like.
yeah, it's not jinx it.
Still have.
I have a question for Polly. The fact that this entity, Sunrise, is occupying these three different positions, is there any conflict of interest concern?
No, it's actually, I think I was actually also pleased to know that it was housed in one place. Because I think that there's a lot of, in a larger municipality, I shouldn't say typical, but a larger municipality. Where there's a town engineer, a building official and a planner. Or, they all work together on applications, and so having everyone under the same roof. I think will make cause less friction and hopefully things won't fall through the cracks where you just have the engineer look at it, but then the planner doesn't see it or the building official, so. It's a great question, but I think if anything, that works to our favor.
One of the challenges that I've had has been figuring out, it's essentially serving as a permit tech. And I don't have training or background in that, and I don't have a tremendous amount of experience. I mean, I've been at the town office for a while, and I've seen applications come in, and I've certainly, we are still collecting the permits. But having, all of these different professions, well, we've never had a contract planner, we just had John. Not just John, but we had John, and John is a planner. John has a planning degree. He had a little bit of experience planning before coming to the town, and then he did it for decades. So John is a planner. Neither Molly and I are planners. Polly will even confess not to being a planner despite knowing a great deal about municipal land use. So these guys are professional planners. And again, one of the things that I struggle with in the building permit program was knowing whom to send what. And I think there's a really strong likelihood that this arrangement with one firm reduces the likelihood that happens, and it can be a big deal and cause major problems when you don't get those submittals reviewed appropriately. So
Yeah, so yes, okay, well, thank you, everybody. Good questions, good discussion, and thanks again. Let's move on back to a little bit of housekeeping on agenda items 7 and 8, please. Some minutes from February, wow, and March. I remember those months. It was kind of like what it is outside, warm and dry. So why don't we tackle February 1st? February minutes first, thank you. February 26th. Any comments, questions, thoughts, corrections, what have you? Hearing none, can we get a motion to approve those minutes, please? There's Aaron moved. Is there a second out there?
Seconded.
Thank you. We have a second by Dave. All those in favor of the February 25th minutes as submitted, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's move on to March 25th, please. Same questions, thoughts, observations, corrections, anything? Nope. Again, entertain a motion on that.
She's nodding.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Look, I didn't fix my head for this. Is there a second? Whatever you speak
Seconded.
once. Thank you, Paul. All right, thank you, Paul. I saw you went off mute, so I was like, boom, that's it. Thank you. We have a second from Paul. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Aye.
Thanks.
Aye.
All right, there we go. Good. Number 9, Chris, I'm gonna turn this over to you. And I didn't do any campaigning or anything like that, but no bumper stickers, no.
oh right, I'm sorry. I thought we were on to the general plan update. Well,
No,
John,
not quite yet.
when did you first get appointed to the planning commission? Was it like 2011? 12, 13, 14. Does John Goldner remember?
Altapedia, boy, I don't know.
The first one, because I remember though, and maybe Molly remembers, I know that you were recently reappointed.
There was not reappointed a couple months
By the
ago.
council,
July, yeah.
and I thought that they, at least they knew when your last term was over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those Alta things. We don't know if exactly when this building was built.
Gabby's gonna take care, Gabby and Dan are gonna take care of that for us.
Yeah.
Determined when you were first appointed chair
Right,
Oh,
yes,
8 years ago,
okay.
yes.
and there should have been
A
another action
reappointment.
taken 5 years after that, which there was not.
Okay,
So this is kind of
play a little catch up
play a little catch up.
for 2 years, future, moving into the future.
As I recall, the planning commission elects their own chair,
Correct,
right?
Yes.
Correct.
So,
And yes, yes.
yes.
so.
So-
Well, anyway, John, thank you for your long service. You've been with us through some
Yeah.
important
So
projects.
this would have happened, let's see, 2 more years as far as chair, and then based on my recent reappointment, it'd be 3 more years after that as far as on the commission.
Well, yes, so you can only serve as chair for another 2
Yes,
years.
yeah,
without
yes.
taking a term off, and then 5 years after that, you can be reappointed. So just
Yeah.
get your calendar out and
Yeah, not really get out of that, but okay.
yeah.
So anyway. Guess we'll take a vote. Is there thoughts, discussion on, kind of awkward in terms
I haven't heard of anybody else in the ballot. Is it John Pugh Nepstead? Is that the same?
Yeah.
John, are you willing to do it?
Not Sullivan, yeah. Yes, yeah, I was thinking of the Ulysses Grant speech, if nominated, I will not, no. Yes, I do, I enjoy this, and I appreciate the support from everybody, by the way, in all seriousness. I enjoy this, I enjoy working with all of you and staff and elected officials, so. If it's working for everyone else, it certainly works for me, I guess is one way to put it.
Well, thank you for your service.
Do you guys need a motion?
Yeah, we did
Yeah,
need a
so-
motion.
so need to-
So moved.
Paul made a motion,
Second.
Aaron
So it
second.
just, so the motion's to reappoint.
Yeah, motion is to reappoint,
John Epstein.
Joe Epstein as chair for
Yeah.
2 more years,
The end of 2028.
end of 2028, very good. So we have a motion and a second. I'll have to abstain.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you for your support.
Vice chair.
I appreciate it.
Vice chair.
And if I could butt in for 1 second,
Sure.
am I muted? So you're on your way.
No.
Lee Kapilowski holds the record so far. He was on the planning commission for 42 years. So we knew exactly when you came on. It's just in a file somewhere, and we don't have it at the top of the head, but 42 years is
We got it.
the benchmark.
So you got a ways to go.
Yeah, I don't think, when I came on, to be honest, I think those were a little bit.
Well, and Jan, Skip, and
Jan was there for right behind there, and
Skip and was
Skip was
John
there,
was on for
and Prescott.
yeah.
We had some, again, Gabby and Dave will maybe look at you at some point to see what some, good, we're not gonna codify it, I don't think, in terms of durations, but, maybe some best practices.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. All right, again, thank you, everybody. Looking forward to this. And John G, you'll notice I'm doing this without a gavel these days. Because if you recall, I agreed to this initially, if I got a nice wooden gavel to keep things in order.
I don't know where that went. Someone stole it.
I don't know. It's in the back, okay. We haven't needed it for a while. So anyway, very good. Thank you. Thanks again, everybody. Number 10, per Chris's comment earlier, we're not, town of Alta Ski Lifts is not ready for this yet, so.
Can you just give us a preview of what this is all about?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Sure, yeah, so the Alta Ski Area and the Peruvian Lodge are proposing a boundary adjustment to slice a tiny sliver of land off the Peruvian lot and join it with the skiers. The ski area owns another sliver, it's like 1/10 of an acre or so. It's a little bit-
The ski area, the existing parcel they own is about an acre.
Listen, yeah, I guess that makes
And
sense.
where the parking lot is. And then the rest of it, of course, is for service. And they wanna, I think that they wanna expand so that they can push the parking lot a little bit further.
Is it a land exchange or just an?
Just adjustment.
Adjustment
But
purchase.
the net parking stays the same.
Well, it's
Or
associated, whew.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna speak to
Okay,
that,
all right.
but it's part of their
That's
parking
okay.
lot enhancement, so. Yeah,
Well, we'll entertain that discussion in September, how's that?
yeah.
See where that goes, okay, but thanks for bringing that up, man. So yeah, we'll see that in September in theory,
Yes.
okay, very good, thank you. Number 11, I'll turn it over to the staff in a second, but just so. We all helped submit a grant to WFRC for planning support for general plan update. And we thought it was a good idea for the planning commissioners to see high level kind of a scope and a schedule as far as what the RFP contains and maybe some areas of emphasis. So anyway, I'll turn staff go with it, and I know we have a few slides that were in the packet as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not actually signed into the Zoom meeting, but I will see if I can do that in stride here, so.
Page one of what?
31, 34.
It's like the last.
Oh, page 31 of 34, for those who have the packet, open online.
Of the packet, yeah, so, and I regret that, like, I should have asked Polly to present on the code changes, because I don't like being the guy that just runs his mouth. Sorry, I don't mean to be a pop. But so we've discussed this a couple times. I think we started discussing this last in like the fourth quarter of 2025. We submitted the application in December. And I think we talked about it with the planning commission before that. We talked about it at least once this spring. Really, is Gabby sharing? Oh, nice. So thank you, Gabby. So
Yeah, no
there
problem.
we go. So okay, so yeah, so really the scope of the project as we conceived it in the application and have described it following submitting that application really hasn't changed. It's a complete general plan update. The general plan is from the year 2000. We did an important update in 2013 to add a vision statement and develop the commercial element, section 4.3. And so the baseline goal is to review and update the entire general plan. We want to focus on the vision and focus on section 4.3, town center commercial, or whatever part of the general plan that sort of set of policies winds up in. We all know how key a section of how key a sort of component of general plan that is, having just been through the process with the transit state and also with the shell process that is still ongoing. Part of that town center commercial reevaluation, I expect will be some kind of economic or market analysis of what's possible downtown. Existing commercial core vision apply? Is it relevant? Is it attainable? If not, what changes should we make to the vision, general plan, etc.? We didn't propose to do extensive code updates as part of this project. We do want to identify updates to our land use regulations, especially the base facility zone, if the updates seem prudent.
Trigger it,
Yeah, for sure. Transportation readiness. We all know that UDOT is gonna provide an enhanced bus service in Little Cottonwood and may at some point in the future provide a gondola in Little Cottonwood Canyon. The location where the bus stops is likely to be condensed from the sort of legacy 5 or 6 stops around town model to 1 or perhaps 2 locations And we want to be prepared to rearrange the Alta shuttle program or rethink the Alta shuttle, Town of Alta shuttle program to integrate with updated transit and whatever other sort of transportation elements arise in a general plan update. Housing is a big part of the grant program. The grant program is the transportation land use connection. It's a regional program, and a lot of these grants go to cities, buckling under development pressure with significant housing shortages. And so, anyways, housing is a priority for the grant program. Housing, we have a unique housing. We're really unique from other resort communities in the way housing works up here, and we have housing problems, but they're not the same ones. They're generally not the same ones that Park City or Jackson Hole has. And of course, there's some key constraints in the Alta market. So, I'm not sure what the housing component of it is going to look like, but we know the community wants to see more diverse opportunities for housing in Alta. So we'll see what can be done. I don't think we need to talk through in the next slide really much about the commission's role, other than to acknowledge that this is your baby. This is your primary responsibility under state code. So the commission will be the primary forum where we work on the general plan update. We don't really have a scope defined. We haven't selected a consultant because we haven't issued an RFP, so we don't know exactly what the scope will look like in terms of meetings and how often we can expect to, have extensive discussions at planning commission meetings. But you guys are really the owners of the general plan.
We anticipate the scope to include some degrees of community engagement.
Definitely.
So
Yes.
there will be opportunities for that. We don't know the details of those.
No, but
those, it's not unlimited budget on this. Sorry, can be expensive.
yeah, those can be it can be expensive. I don't think I could put a lot of value in a general plan that hasn't taken a lot of public engagement, or at least, we need to put our best foot forward.
Absolutely.
And provide opportunities. So
for sure,
yeah.
for sure.
Yep. So I don't remember what's on the next slide, Gabby.
The next one is the discussion.
Discussion. Yes. Okay. So, our initial goal was to get this rolling sooner. We have launched a bunch. We've hired the same firm, it turns out, but we've run all these procurements this year, and that stuff is laborious. And and we've got a couple of others ongoing. We've got the ALJ procurement out there we described. We have a couple different architecture procurements. Oh, Dave, block yours. For a variety of projects, including a next phase in designing a new building for this site. So this general plan and that project are kind of running in parallel. It's hyper important we get those underway by the winter time. At this point, the goal is to have this meeting with you guys, finalize the scope of work, and then get it out the door.
Yeah.
So this is the commission's last opportunity to provide input on priorities for the project. I had a sort of a long form scope of work I was thinking about providing you, but I took some good advice from a number of folks in the meeting not to do that. And so I just wanted to posit a couple questions to get the juices flowing. I would really like to know what you think, like what you want us to focus the update on. What are some land use policy or sort of general Town of Alta vision policy areas that have been underserved in the recent past? And what's the single highest priority?
So there may be, these are good teasers, and I was hoping that Jeff would be part of the meeting too as well. And I think but with the four of us here, I think these are really good teasers that will help as staff rolls this out for the procurement process, which will probably happen in September.
Yes.
With the support of WFRC, they do provide staff support with the procurement process. So it's not all on town staff to do this. So it should be a little bit easier and cleaner. they have a pretty prescribed, well-worn process to do this procurement. So anyway, to Chris's point, these are really good teasers. And we don't have to necessarily take these in order. If anybody has any open thoughts, just turn it open to the planning commission, Dave, Paul, Maren, in terms of thoughts on, I guess, really on any of these. I'm just gonna leave it open.
I mean, we keep talking about condos, no condos, the past 2 years, it's
Definitely.
seems like the main priority. I think housing is an interesting one. I'm a very lucky person in that I live and work up here. I'm in employee housing that's long term, but there's probably, I don't know, 20 of us that have that luxury. And if you're looking for year-round community involvement, I think more of that would allow that to grow. But it's tough. Where do you put that?
Yeah.
Maybe in the Toronto State giant building, not be
Uh,
low-income housing, but yeah, those are two things on my mind.
Okay. Dave or Paul?
I would agree with the workforce housing component. I actually, in terms of what do we want to focus on, I appreciate the list of things there. The other piece that's always been of interest to me, John Nebstead, would be the circulation and transportation. Is there any improvements? What's going to happen with, any kind of hub kind of situation with UTA. But so those are probably my two things that are probably most important would be, I guess to pile on what Maren was talking about, it's anecdotally, I feel like some of the opportunities for these, workforce housing type living arrangements seems to be getting less, or I know there's some caretaker provisions, but whether folks are doing those or whatever seems to be somewhat less than it used to be in the past. And so I guess that would be the highest priority for me, with the second focus on the transportation and circulation network for Alta, or lack thereof.
Paul, your thoughts? Where we're headed?
Yeah, thank you. I don't have anything to add.
Okay. Well, I think it's stay tuned. Maybe can't promise October selection, but October, November. So I'm reporting back to this body,
Yeah,
something like that, as far as where we go.
I would hope that by the fourth Thursday in October, we will have a consultant on board. We'll be under contract. There may not be that much of substance to report about that.
No.
A key question for me is when we haven't had a joint meeting of the Plan Commission and the Town Council since I think like the summer of 2014, when we got together to discuss the council's remand of the base facility zone amendments to the commission. First, I had never heard that word before that. So anyway, these happen, right? Like cities get their legislative bodies and their land use authorities together routinely, or I don't know, routinely, but hopefully more than every 12 years. And this is a great juncture to do that. So whether to do that, when to do that, essentially, in the workflow of the project, I'm not certain, but I would hope it's before Christmas. Right, yeah. So that's yeah.
The meeting is before Christmas?
Yes, a joint meeting. So a joint meeting, which I assume we would get the word out about and encourage the public to come to, and so that could be a key early engagement opportunity.
All right, very good.
Yeah, what does that look? This is outside of normal planning commission meetings. I assume we'll have like separate.
I don't know. I mean, there are a number of ways we could do it. I mean, in terms of having a joint session, getting 10 busy people, 5 commission members and 5 council members, including the mayor, together is easy. Like, it's easier if it's already on the calendar for 5 of them, so I guess I envision prioritizing one of those dates, a council or planning commission meeting, and just seeing how that works for a quorum of each body. But in terms of like charrettes and dedicated input sessions on the general plan as we work through it, the tough thing to figure out in Alta is like what time of day is best. But certainly in the wintertime, people work more or less at all hours. Our council meetings were famously at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. or whenever, under Mayor Pollard and Mayor Levitt. And it was because people worked in the service industry in the evenings and the road's a mess, before 10 and after 3. And so anyway, I'm not sure when we would do those, but it may make sense to do them more in the evening.
Okay. Good, all right, and that, the intent of that joint meeting is to roll out the.
Well, it's either to, I think the question is, what does the consultant do, and what does the project team do prior to that joint session? How much homework do we do beforehand? We can talk about that offline, but if you have any ideas for it, John sat through a lot of these. John's led a lot of general plans.
Yeah, so I just didn't know as
Yeah,
far as
John.
this is the joint meeting. Confused by the connection to the consultant getting going.
Well, it's an early step of the process. So yeah, maybe I was misspeaking or overthinking the consultant timeline, but we need to get the consultant on board in time to do some homework and then schedule a joint session before Christmas.
In the joint
How
session,
about
the
that?
agenda, the purpose of the agenda for the joint session is simply to introduce them.
It's to get everyone on the same page about expected outcomes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
That's my goal. Yeah.
I missed that part. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Unless we decide that's not prudent, but I've been picturing it. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, thanks for that. Stay tuned, everyone, on that one. Number 12, new business before the planning commission. Lots of activity here. Can we get a walkabout of all the facilities up here?
Oh, jeez.
Before snow flies when they're done?
Oh, geez. Yeah.
What are they?
The tradition is around your facilities. Yeah. We can inquire with the scare. I mean, the person who would typically lead those tours may not be in the role for that many planning commission meetings. So we can bring it up.
Yeah, okay. So just be curious. I mean, there's a lot going on, a lot of the hammers being swung down the road here, and I think it'd be good if we were all informed. That's all.
Yeah, for sure.
Any word on Mike?
Not really any fit to print. Yeah.
Okay, that's.
October. I think it's more like.
September 1st.
Yeah.
Earlier than that.
Okay, that's next one.
Yeah.
All right, very good. That's anything else on new business, anyone? Seeing none, we'll go on our date of our next meeting. That is going to be September something.
23rd, I believe.
23rd. And we'll do that up here. Very good. Same time, same location.
Yeah, September 28th,
23rd.
23rd.
23rd. Thank you.
All right, great. All right, with that, we will entertain a motion to adjourn our August meeting. So moved. All right, Dave, is it a wrap?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Thank you.
All
Thanks,
right.
everybody.
Thanks everybody on the screen.
Thanks for calling in and looking forward to working with everybody moving forward.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Me too.